This is No Money, Mo Money, and after putting an end to a 1,000-year war, he thought to take a little break. But old threats create new problems, and now his path leads to war, through a storm of blood. We are going to be hopping back into the Omega raids again this week, but that's going to require me to upgrade some of my gear again. Unfortunately for that, I am way behind on my gatherer quests, especially fishing. I don't even have spearfishing unlocked. And you might think you need to do your fishing quest to unlock spearfishing. And since I'm involved in all this fishing nonsense this week, I decided to go ahead and do my fishing quest to get caught up on abilities and traits that I'm missing from being behind on them anyway. But you don't. When you do your level 65 fishing quest, it'll actually bring you down to Tamamizu, where right over here, next to the person you would talk to for the quest, is Sumitsubo, who's just standing here in Tamamizu, and he's the one who gives you spearfishing by running a short quest for him. Where one of our fishing buddies, who's a secret lord, but his younger brother is ruling over the domain right now, just got told by our other fishing buddy, who's apparently been funding her trips around the world to go fishing as being an assassin, that his younger brother tried to hire her. So now we, a bunch of friggin' fishermen, are apparently gonna go and oust a lord from his domain. Not because the dude tried to have him assassinated, but because he's threatening to fill in the fishing ponds on their family estate. So we fish up the little beastie, what ate our buddy's family signet ring. And now he can go home and depose his younger brother. Unfortunately, that means now he has to play lordling. Yeah, so he may not be able to make his way out to the fishing holes as much as he used to anymore. But at least he can save the fishing holes at his family home, and we can all use them. And for Stormblood, we meet our guildmaster's new buddy, who just happens to be a Sahagin, where we help our fish buddy track down an ancient, seemingly extinct breed of fish is actually just running into problems with a predator species in its spawning ground that's increasing in numbers, so they're not able to make the trip all the way from the Ruby Sea to the west anymore. So we fish up the predators, what have been eating the baby versions of the fish we were looking for in their spawning grounds, that used to be part of a traditional fishing celebration between the villagers of Asari and the Kojin, and use them to restart the celebration now that the Empire is gone. With the spawning grounds now safer, the shooting stars can breed more, grow more, and will be able to make the trip all the way over to Lenosha in the west more easily. Now, normally I would craft my own gear, but in the case of spearfishing, they give you one spear when you complete the quest. There are no other spears in the game. You can't craft any spears, so I'm just gonna use the spear they give me. Where we first go for our bait fish, this Ichimonji, which is a timed fish, and we have to catch 7 of them before we can even start on the one we want. Which finally makes the shadow of an elusive creature show up like that. Which finally lets us catch the snail fishes. Which means we can finally upgrade our crafting gear. Not all of it, because not all crafting gear has a 2-star. But I have my left side, which is my clothing, and I have my primary tools, which now looks like this. It's not a bad look. It is an in-between look, though, but at least this will tide me over and increase my stats a bit so I can keep up with the Mastercrafting grind. I still believe post-ARR was the absolute worst Mastercrafting grind. That does not make the Mastercrafting grind for any of the other expansions good. It's still terrible. I have already spent 20 hours gathering and crafting collectibles for scripts so that I can buy items I need at exorbitant prices to use in the crafting for these Mastercraft pieces of gear. And so with that whole new set of crafter gear, that'll finally let us craft up for ourselves a whole new set of 3-star Mastercrafted gear for my monk, which looks like this. That's actually a pretty cool look. I still hate the gauntlets completely, so let's get rid of them and the accessories. There we go. That's a decent look, actually. I don't think I'm gonna glamour over this with anything, and that will be enough to carry me back into the Omega raids. So Biggs and Wedge are still on the mend, and Omega is summoning a new land for us to inhabit. Oh boy, Jesse, what have you done? Tiny Ironworks Alpha. There, I thought you were just sizing him up for merchandising opportunities. Jesse's just like, I can do 2 things at once. Alright, back into the nightmare void of the yawn, because Omega is waiting. Yeah, Midgard's Homer's not exactly happy to be around Omega after what Omega did to his homeworld. What the heck kind of cards are those? Wait, so Alpha's gonna actually join the fighting group this time? Or enemies? So I guess Alpha and I are just stuck until maybe Sid finds his way over to break these shields, or do we just... Oh, wow, Alpha! Oh, gee! Look at this egg world behind me. I wonder who the boss of this one could possibly be. So Omega is like, why are you no longer my target? Midgard Server's like, I made a deal with Heidelin. Now I'm just a spirit, not like a real dragon. So Omega's like, by the time I arrived on this star, my target had disappeared. So I just started repairing myself and looking for a new target. So they need a reference point to start their research from, which means I need to dive into stage 1 of the Sigmascape unprepared. Yeah. And this right here is why I decided to stay a monk for the Omega raids, baby. Unfortunately, I can't suplex the train, but still, it just felt fitting to be a monk. Avoid the spotlights. You can use the spotlights to destroy ghosts, which is what you're supposed to do. Maybe they'll do it. Who knows? Doesn't matter too much. That's the line. I need to go back while they get in front of me, basically. Oh, don't get touched by these boys. Let me just wait for them to go. All right, go around. There we go. Oh, someone got grabbed. They get dragged off to a passenger car and they have to take down an ad in order to come back to the fight. Acid Rain, that's just arena-wide. Nothing I can do about that. Oh, darn it. I used my freaking ability just as he fell back. Okay, time for the phase change-ish. There we go. Alley-oop. Time to go beat up the chimney. Get busted. And alley-oop back. Now do we have the ghost section? Yeah. We're each getting choked, and we need to go challenge ghosts. See, letting ourselves get grabbed this time pulls us into the passenger car away from the choking frickin' fog so that we can avoid that. And then we just beat up the ghost. Done. Hit the ethereal stream to go back to the main car. And the choking fog is gone, and we're back in the fight, and a bunch of people did not handle that mechanic properly. Wow, that's a lot of dead bodies. Yep. Come on, buddy. Yeah. Get hit. If only I could, suplex the Phantom Train. Even if just, like, if a monk uses an LB during this fight, it should turn into a special suplex LB. It just should. I know that's extra work for them and all, but still, it's so perfect. Doesn't matter, we still win. Next foe is Chadarnuk, not a train, but some manner of animated painting. Okay. Time for the demon Chadarnuk. Time to play with paintings. There he is. There's the goddess version in the background. Doesn't really matter. The goddess will basically just be doing attacks on the off-tank the whole game. So while the demon possesses a painting, we simply run over, use our duty action to paint next to that painting, and we gain some resistance to fire while he does his fire attack. See, so each painting has some other painting, other drawing on the floor right next to it, and you basically just have to use that drawing in order to counter the effect when he goes into one of the paintings. Except for one of them. That one over there, only one player needs to actually use the ability, because what it does there is transform you into something that can sort of offset what he's doing for the whole party. But for the rest of them, you really just sort of want everyone to do it. Flying in my tiny little plane while he goes and does an earthquake on the ground, right? Yeah, earthquake. Where's he going now? Oh, he's going over there. I think I'm okay, because if one person does the painting on that side, then yeah, they create the rock and everyone can use it. So I don't need to actually paint this one, I can just use the rock that someone else made. Blood! So is he going to possess the last one now? Yep. Is someone else going to Typhon it up? Yep. Okay. So I shouldn't need to do anything so long as that player understands how to handle the Typhon stuff. Which is this boss summons a bunch of these, and Typhon's job is to blow them away from the players. Like, send them to the outside of the arena so that they don't affect the players, mostly. Oh, I was standing a little too close there. Oh, he's tethering to two of them now. I am going to need to handle the fire vuln down. There we go. And someone else is handling that part, so I'm able to do all this just fine. Can I hit him with that? I don't think I hit him with that. Oh well. Okay, so I'm gonna actually need to do both of these, because I need to give myself some vulnerability to the damage, and then I need to pop up to avoid the earthquake. Good job wasting our LB, buddy. He's almost there, but I think I do need to avoid this. Oh, get in there. Hit him. And done. Ooh, did Biggs and Wedge wake up? Yep, they're on their way here. Okay, Nero's gonna stay behind so something crazy can happen to him while we're off visiting Biggs and Wedge. Initiating action to maintain desirable stress levels. I'm gonna kill someone else. Don't screw with Nero. Biggs and Wedge can be tough when they want to, but Nero will fight back. Next foe, known as the Guardian. Battle is relatively straightforward. Courage and steel should be enough to win you the day. Time for Sigmascape 3. It's just a big old brute tank. The Guardian's just a big heavy hitter. And I kind of don't remember anything from this fight, so good luck me, I guess. And more slam downs. Oh, tentacles. Cool. So he's mimicking abilities is what the Guardian's doing here. I can kind of tell what's going on there. He's mimicking abilities from a few different fights that we've been through before. Ultros, Typhon. Oh, god dang it, dude. Changing over to Shockwave, which is a knockback. Okay, easy enough. But yes, so he's mimicking a bunch of other bosses we've fought before, right? Daluma, Typhon, Ultros, those kinds of people. Not super tough bosses, but he's mimicking a bunch of different abilities from them. Unlock a bunch of things. There we go. That was from the, was that Google Library he was mimicking that ability from? I think that's where that boss is from, that like summons enemies if you don't stack on the markers. More of these rockets. Which is cool, let's just stay out of the way of his shooting, shall we? Ba-ba-da-ba-da, just walk away. He's down to 8%, let's just hit him. And done. Adios, Guardian. Profile on the next opponent. Kefka, a jester. Yes, Sid, that's all Kefka is. He's a jester. His preferred mode of pooling didn't just bring the house down, but the whole world. Face paint is a mask for his intent. If you watch the surface, you'll be finding a disadvantage. Yes. So he'll actually give off signals as to whether the moves he's about to pull are real or fake. And so, like, if the move he's about to pull is fake, then if it's represented as an AoE, what you actually need to do is stand in that AoE. Alright, Sigmascape 4. The jerk with the ultimate Sigma mindset. I am the greatest! Yep, you're real funny, idiot. So his entire kit is like all about trickery. He's gonna do a lot of big attacks and a lot of AoEs, and sometimes they're real and sometimes they're fake. Like, so we need to pay attention. Like this. This is real. Stay in melee range and we're safe. This is fire. This is also real. So he's gonna target some people with AoEs. That's lines, and that's also real. Yes, so when the question marks are in place, you want to stand in the AoEs because they're fake. That's how you can tell when he's lying to you. And here comes the statue. Graven image. Which moves the statue. And it creates a knockback with graven image. With some beams that we don't want to get hit by. Let's go ahead and give you guys some healing buff here. Timely teleport. So he's going to teleport here. Stay by the side of it for a second. Because if he comes out like that, he'll come out blasting. Here's another graven image. And this is a trick, so we need to stand in these lines. Knockback. Another graven image, which is... That's going to cover that half of the arena. Yep. Another timely teleport, so go to the side. And he's doing knockback, so go in front of him. See, if he comes out and he doesn't immediately blast in front of him, it means he's charging up a knockback. So you stand to the side of the timely teleport, and if he pops out and doesn't blast forward, then you run in front of him so that the knockback sends you forward instead of off the ledge. Changing the statue again. Oh, that's a look away normally, but the question mark means that it's actually a look towards. So you don't want to look away from that one because it was a trick attack. And we are done. I am the Sigma. Yeah, I got that Sigma grind set, baby. Oh, man, that's a bad achievement. Bye. Goodbye to your world of ruin, you unfunny clown. The Alphas have defeated the Sigmas. Bye, Sigmascape. Oh. And there goes Nero. Yeah. It wasn't smart for Omega to pick a fight with Nero. Biggs and Wedge can be tough, but doable. Nero, on the other hand, was going to pit a real fight with Omega, but not without burning himself out pretty hard. Like, he got pretty badly hurt in that fight with Omega, but he defeated it. But he basically just toughed it out through those last 2 rounds without telling us he was injured. Next round is yours. Yeah, Nero's kind of out of the final round of the Omega raids. Hello, tiny Chibokobo plushie. Hello, tiny gecko man. Conserve life energy. You subconsciously limit your output during standard activity. Oh, yes. So, yeah, you think we plus ultra during fights. He's having trouble calculating just how strong we can become during a fight. Will exhibit your full potential unrestricted by self-imposed limits. Mortal peril will facilitate the collection of desired data. Will you stop it already? "180 seconds, I will terminate your life. Attempt to escape with every last reserve of strength you possess." You suck, Omega. Like, everyone thinks you suck. Including Alpha. I mean, good on you to keep trying, pal. It's not working very well, though. It's truly the extent of thine evolution. Glimpse the core of thy wretched existence, and judge that my guidance here is no longer needed. Yes, my gecko is taking his turn now. Omega, you made my pet gecko angry. You shouldn't have done that. Nicely done. Somewhere shall I betake me for a time? Yep. Incarnation leave with thee will be mine in form, but not in spirit. Yes, so my little gecko Midgard Zormer that's floating around with me is no longer, like, possessed by the real Midgard Zormer for now, because he needs to sleep after this. Give me empty vessel, thine all too clumsy effort to draw out that, which by thine own admission defieth thine understanding, is the very height of folly. Like that Midgard Zormer is like, you don't even know what you're playing with, and you're trying to draw it out of the Warrior of Light. You're stupid. Thou hast witnessed these mortals in the fullness of their glory, then mayest thou determine if the prize thou seekest is life for the taking. Yeah. Just give it time. I'll reveal all my powers eventually, and then you'll regret ever letting me do so. Attempt to artificially elicit potential has failed. Tend to your injuries and prepare for the next round. Alright, time to get out of here before Omega does anything else. So now that we picked up all this junk that no one ever wants to take home from the raids, we can now buy all of this junk for glamour, which looks a little something like this. Not the worst. I still don't like it. Oh well. Good enough for the end of this tier, at least. We need to be ready when he calls on us again, which means I need to go and craft myself whole new sets of crafter gear and monk gear again for next week, because my current set does not have the eye level to finish the final tier of raids.